Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another stream. I hope you're all well. A bit of a random Wednesday evening, I know, but I haven't got that much time later in the week. I'm going away for the weekend on Friday evening, and I'm out tomorrow evening. So I thought I would fire up before we go and watch the Champions League, do a quick stream to talk about upcoming Game Week 11, answer any of you loyal viewers who are in here, any of your questions ahead of the upcoming deadline. I have had a haircut and he has doesn't look good on the camera. Anyway, I will fix that in the mirror afterwards. But anyway, let me know if you guys are watching. How have you got on? Any transfer plans ahead of Game Week 11? How did you score in Game Week 10? What points did you get? I got 43 all out, which saw me get a red arrow down to 155k. Just 1 week left now before I go and play my wildcard. So just thinking about, well, I've made my transfer actually. If anyone hasn't watched my video from this afternoon, then make sure you go and do so. But referee has obviously watched the earlier video. Lee, Sean, James, Samuli, Shiraz, thank you all for joining. 54 points for Game Week 10, 162 ranked. I imagine that's a green arrow, small green arrow. 54 points if there was no hit taken. You're happy with that? Yeah, you went Marcel to James. Of course you'd be happy with that. It was a great week to own Reece James, of course. Is it worth moving funds into midfield or wait on Kane and Ronaldo? Well, I suppose it depends on who you are owning, but the talk of Son and Kane this week is definitely something worth focusing on. I'm not bringing them into my team this week, but they are definitely a focus for me when I'm on my wild card next week. Son in my team is definitely something that I am looking to get in. He will be in my wild card unless he gets injured or something like that. I would be looking to try and go Son. I don't necessarily think stretching all the money up to Kane is doable for everyone. So Son potentially would be the one that I would go and get out of the two of them. I really like the upcoming Spurs fixtures, and I'm sure you've all, if I just go on to transfers, we can have a look at their fixtures. So here we've got Leeds, Burnley, Brentford, Norwich, Brighton, Leicester, all in the sort of next 6. Plus it stretches down to Crystal Palace, Southampton, Watford over the Christmas period as well. Even up to Game Week 25, they have a really nice run of fixtures where I think we're wanting to own Son. So what I would say is if you are going and buying Son now, don't use him as a placeholder for United assets, because I think you'll probably want to keep him for the majority of this run rather than just going for sort of 4 weeks, Leeds to Norwich. That's the best part of it probably. Game Week 19 to 21 is also quite nice, but I would be looking to own them for the long term. Son or Kane. So this is what I'm saying. I'd probably favour Son out of the two of them. I'd probably go, and get Son if I had to go and get one of them. Kane is a luxury if you can get both, but Son is definitely the one that I would be looking to own out of the pair of them. You had a red arrow after 7 consecutive greens. Well done. Transferred in Laporte. That's unfortunate, and a red arrow, of course, is unfortunate, but you've had, 7 consecutive green arrows. I wish I could say that about my team, but yeah, very well done nonetheless on that. Which Spurs defender? So that's another thing that's been bugging me. If you're going to go and get one, Reguilon is definitely the one that you go and get. He's definitely the best of the lot and the most nailed out of the lot of them. So if you're wanting to go for a Spurs defender, I would go and get Reguilon. Now I look at these fixtures and I think, am I going to get enough clean sheets in the next run to warrant a Spurs defender over keeping a Chelsea defender or a Liverpool defender or a Man City defender, for example? Now this is the question. If you look at the next 4, Leeds at home, Burnley away, Brentford at home, Norwich at home. I think if you're expecting anything more than 2 clean sheets in those 4, I'd be surprised. Leeds, Burnley, Brentford, I probably only see 1. And then Norwich at home, probably the 2nd. So, yes, Spurs' defence is fine. I don't necessarily think it's as essential as the attack. We've got enough good defences that over the next 4, like Chelsea over the next 4, okay, if it's those 4, you'd still probably back Chelsea to keep 2 clean sheets the way that they're playing at the moment. So you'd still probably back them to keep it. City, after United, Everton, West Ham, Villa, Watford. Again, I don't see Spurs keeping more clean sheets over the next 4 weeks after the Everton game compared to City or Chelsea. So, and then City have a really nice run of games all until the new year, basically. And Chelsea, once they've gone through this difficult run, again, like, I would just be keeping your Chelsea, your City defenders. If that was the way you were going to go and get them, I'd still prioritise them over a Spurs defender. I was, as soon as that transfer, the managerial switch happened, I was thinking of how do I get, Reguilon would be on my wild card, Son would be on my wild card, Kane would hopefully be in there as well, but maybe a little bit more caution in terms of the defence. If I can get Son, which I will do, great. If I can get Kane, which I don't think I will, it would be a good punt, but the defence I'm a bit wary of still. I don't think they have the talent enough to start keeping a sudden amount of clean sheets, especially with how attacking Conte makes those fullbacks. FPL Steve, how are we doing? Jack the Cat, the Big Hitters FPL. Zach, welcome everyone. Good to see you all in. I am very well, thank you for asking. How far in advance am I looking for when wildcarding Man United players for Gameweek 15 onwards? My issue is that I don't know where in that United team I want to be buying yet, so it's very hard for me to plan ahead. If they continue to play 2 up front, which at the moment I kind of see being the case, they have so many good players who are going to be wanting to rotate minutes in the front 2 that I find it very hard to pick any of those attackers for the long term. I can't see any of their front sort of attackers starting more than 2 and 3 games, which is then just not worth buying into them given all their prices. Ronaldo starting 2 and 3 games, Rashford starting 2 and 3 games. It's just not really what you want. And defensively, they showed last night that even in a back 5, they can concede goals. So again, I don't want to back them over the likes of a Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool defender. So at the moment, I don't see myself going and getting one. At the moment. Now, there's a chance that I don't go double Chelsea defence on my wild card and I go for one of them, which leaves a free, in theory, premium spot. But I'm so up in the air about what I'm going to do with my wildcard. I go back and forth. I'm quite happy that I've got a week this week and international break to plan with it. Prithviraj, thank you. Sorry, I've butchered your name. My stream disconnected for a second. We should be back. Sanchez, Trent, Cancelo, Rudiger, James, Duffy, Salah, Foden, Mbeumo, Mount, Gallagher, Vardy, Hwang, Antonio. Thinking Mount downgrade to Smith Rowe, Vardy to Tony for a -4. I wouldn't go selling Vardy for a -4 this week. That's not worth it. If it was for free, that sideways move would be fine. Mount out. Again, if Mount's going to be fit this week, I would potentially roll your transfer. I don't think either of those are needed for a transfer. Wait till next week when potentially you want Son in that midfield. Maybe you can do next week Vardy downgrade and Mount up to Son, for example. I'd prefer doing that than going and getting Smith Rowe this week, I think. Son is definitely a target for me in the next week. I do like Smith Rowe, and the reason for it is if I use this fixture rotator and I put in Arsenal and Southampton, the best rotating fixtures they have for the foreseeable future are incredible. Watford, Norwich, Newcastle, Leicester, Brighton, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Norwich, Wolves, Newcastle, Wolves, Burnley, Wolves. That is a great run of fixtures, which is why I do like you bringing in Smith Rowe. Like, when I wildcard, I'm... Sorry, you can't see the last couple of that, can you? I'll zoom in. So the rotation you can get between Smith Rowe and like Livramento, for example, is really nice. So I do like the idea of getting Smith Rowe into your team, but I would prioritise Son in for the foreseeable next couple of games. Would be my plan. Start Livramento this week. If you don't have anyone else, I think he's fine. I don't expect him to keep getting the returns that maybe he had done in previous game weeks, but I think he's still a good pick to go with this week. If you've got a weak bench, for example, fine, not great, not dreadful. One of my thoughts on Cornet, I still have it in my mind that he's a Burnley player, and I cannot get it out of my mind that he plays for Burnley and Burnley struggle to score goals. He looks good and he does look really nice for them, and he's scoring goals and is by far their most threatening player. Their next few fixtures are not bad as well. I just don't think I'd be going there. I don't think I've got it in me to go there. How many hits is it worth to get Son in? My team, I would have to take a -4 this week and for next week. I mean, I can't imagine you need 4 transfers to get Son in. I'm surprised that you need quite so many as that. But if it's a -4 this week and a -4 next week, I don't particularly love that. But I would want to be getting Son in. I really think there must be an easier way than 4 transfers to go and get Son into your team. To start double Chelsea defenders and bench 2 double City defenders or 1 of each. Oh, I'd start double Chelsea defence before any City defender. I still think you've got to look at it. The odds of a Chelsea clean sheet are considerably higher. The gap that it's worth doubling up. If they were like 40%, 35%, then I'd potentially go, okay, start 1 City defender and 1 Chelsea defender. But with the way the fixtures have fallen, I would start double Chelsea defence, especially if they're attacking ones as well. You're going to do Antonio to Tony to fund either Kane or Son. Who should I get, Kane or Son? I'd just go... I think Son as the first option is the one that I would be going with out of the 2. If you can add Kane on top of that, then I would be going and doing that as well. But I would be going for Son as the default option out of the 2 of them for sure. Extra point for a clean sheet, extra point for a goal. If he's going to be playing up front, the only thing to recommend Kane is his penalties, I think. So I'd go Son first. Start Cancelo or Reguilon this week. Everton have looked okay going forward. I'd probably start Cancelo this week. I just don't think United have looked good going forward at all in the past couple of weeks. So, yeah, I'd probably start Cancelo out of the 2 of them this week. Play Livramento or double Arsenal defence with White. Probably Livramento. So this is a case that I think the clean sheet odds are close enough, and given the attacking threat that Livramento has, I'd probably diversify the risk a little bit and go with Livramento. Son and Antonio or Kane and Zaha. So Son and Antonio or Kane and Zaha. Probably Son. I mean, if you put it like that, no, I'd still go Son and Antonio out of the 2 options that you've given me there, Raul. I was close, and I do quite like Zaha as a punt, and I may go with him on my wildcard. But, yeah. Double Chelsea starter is, yeah, that's who I'd be playing. Sorry, I'm just trying to... would I do Rafinha to Smith Rowe this week? No, I probably wouldn't. Rafinha against a Leicester side that have conceded a lot of chances. Thoughts on Callum Wilson? Still a no-go. A lot of the forwards are pretty dreadful, but I wouldn't be going and buying a Newcastle option at the moment. Yeah, I'll probably watch Liverpool this evening or Man City. I'm trying to debate what to do with... I'm trying to work out what to do with Cancelo, so I may watch City this week. Good evening, Flynn. How are we doing? Interesting. Is there something wrong with Robertson as to why he's not playing tonight? Just out of interest, or is he rested? Semedo or Livramento? Let me go and get the fixtures back up for you. Probably Semedo. Prithia, trying to fit Son and Smith Rowe in with your current squad of Foden, Gallagher and Buemo Salah Mount is difficult. It is difficult. That's true. But I'd prioritise Son before I prioritised Smith Rowe. I like Smith Rowe, but Son is definitely got to be the better pick over the next few weeks. So I'd be prioritising Son over getting Smith Rowe into your team. Antonio out for Jesus. I mean, there's a lot of talk at the moment about Antonio out, and I'm considering doing it next week on my wildcard. It's a luxury transfer that could easily go horribly wrong. If it's a free transfer that you've got spare, then go for it. But I wouldn't go doing it for just anyone. It was Jesus. The City fixtures are okay. Everton at home. I probably wouldn't do that. Am I going to sell Antonio? So yeah, my wildcard drafts at the moment don't have Antonio in at the moment. Yeah, Antonio not in my wildcard drafts this week. Is my team finalised for this weekend? Not quite, because I haven't decided on my bench quite yet. Do I put Cancelo in the starting 11? Do I start White? Do I bench Antonio? Do I bench Hwang? Do I bench Rafinha? Let me know who you would bench in this. Wilson or Jimenez? Jimenez, definitely. Is your team finally able to get rid of Lukaku? Went for Hwang to free up a massive 6.8 million. Where to spend is got to be Spurs assets for next week. I would be looking at Son first and then Kane to spend. And I also still think Foden is a great asset to own for the upcoming weeks. Best differential captain, Tony or Vardy? I really think the best differential captain this week is a Chelsea defender. Yeah, I still think that it is a Chelsea defender is the best differential captain this week. Simply FPL, don't go giving me that when you've been chatting to me all year about changing it. Do I think Aspie's going to start? I mean, I'd probably go slightly no, but best differential captain we've had. Robbo is rested, but Simicast deserves a start. Simicast has been good when he's been given a chance, so... Robbo's also too aggressive, could easily get sent off. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. Double Chelsea defence, good for next 3 game weeks. Yeah, I'd still go with it. I still think it's a good pick. I'm looking to do it still. I've got it. Best under 7 million midfielder to buy. I still like Smith Rowe. I still find it difficult to know on Smith Rowe versus Saka about who's the best long-term pick. But Smith Rowe I really like. Zaha's an interesting one as well as a differential. Rafinha is still good. Gallagher as well at a cheap price. And Buemo would be definitely the ones that I'd go and look at. No worries, Zach. Glad I could be of some use. Have the hamstrings gods told you to sell Antonio? That's exactly what it is, Daniel. They told me Antonio's hamstrings are he's gonna go off pinging like Bamford did last international break, and he's gonna say he's back every week. And just like Bamford, he's never gonna come back. You wouldn't bring in Kane. open the door for Lukaku or Ronaldo going forward? In theory, it would, yeah. It's just very hard for a lot of us to get to Kane at the moment. If you've got Vardy, then your structure's close to it. But there's so many good players that I would want over going for Kane in my team at the moment, or going for a premium forward at the moment, which is why I'm finding it so difficult. A lot of my drafts have Vardy in. I do like the Leicester fixtures, but we'll see what happens next week when I put my real thought into my wildcard next week. So this is where I'm at. 1 week punt on Reece James this week. Do I think Mount will start? Yeah, I probably do. Again, wait for the press conferences. He'll either start or not be in the squad again. So how long until the game start? 8 minutes. Cool. Captain Spurs asset game week 12 against Leeds or over Salah, who faces Arsenal. So I think that is a week where, for me, it's the first big week since Salah captaincy that we may consider going against him. Game week 12, Salah at home to Arsenal versus Son or Kane at home to Leeds. Worth thinking about. But, bro, Kane, Tony, Havertz or Son, Vardy, Havertz? Son and Vardy or Kane and Tony? Son and Vardy for me. That's where I'd be going. So, taking my advice, your decision making for game week 11-12 is Vardy to Tony in game week 11 and Mount to Son in game week 12. We'll have 2 million left in the bank. I quite like that. I suppose my thought, Prithviraj, is do you need to do the Tony move this week? And why do you want Tony? Like, could you not go, I don't know if you've got Jimenez in your team, and feel free to just put it in the chat. But thank you so much for all your super chats. Can you not just do Vardy to Jimenez, for example, next week and play Vardy against Leeds this week, roll your transfer, and then sell him when he's got Chelsea after the international break? That's what I'd probably do. But you want Son so badly, but your fourth mid is Mbeumo. That is a lot of money you're going to need to upgrade him, Alexander. You're going to have to find a lot of money elsewhere to do Mbeumo up. And I still think Mbeumo is a good option when he's fit. He's a better option than Tony is. Sanchez, Trent, Livramento, White, Janssen, Gray, Salah, Mbeumo, Tony, Antonio, Ronaldo, Foster, Sarr, Allen. That team's nice, Nigel. Oh, it's just jumped. Can I? Did the stream just end? No. I'm just trying to edit something, but I think we're all fine. Sorry, TB. I'm not intentionally. Would I drop KDB for Son? Yeah, I would. Sorry, nothing intentional. Nothing intentional, nothing personal. I would drop KDB for Son. Ramsdale, I get Gaeta for a long term. Ramsdale for me. Would I get Kane and Son? And if so, when? I'd try and get Son as soon as possible. If you can get him this week for free, then I think he's worth doing this week. He's a really nice differential this week. Hey Harry, how's it going? I'm good, thank you. Ivan, how are you? Do you think it's smart to roll a transfer over before the international break? Yeah, again, if you can roll a transfer this week, then do. Of course, taking 2 free transfers into the international break is definitely a worthwhile strategy. I would definitely want to do it. You can get Son and Kane in one moves, prefer Son, but getting Kane makes easier to get Ronaldo and Antonio back. I still think Son is the one that I'd want to go with. If he's playing out of position up front, his points potential is so high, with an extra point for a goal and an extra point for a clean sheet. So I'd still want to favour Son there. You got Hwang, so don't need to go for Jimenez. That's fair enough. Then yeah, Tony is definitely one worth considering. The other one I quite like is, once he's back fit at the end of the month, is Calvert-Lewin. So have a think about maybe how you want them, because Everton's fixtures over Christmas are quite nice. Double up Brentford attack. For this week and maybe next week when they have Newcastle, yeah, but not long term. I don't think Tony's that great an option the more time goes on. Son for Saka or Son for Saka in game week 12? I'd probably do it this week. Have I decided on who I'm benching? No. I keep toying between putting Cancelo in, then I put White in, then I keep Hwang in, then I bench Rafinha. It's so difficult to pick. At the moment it's like this, but I really can't decide. If gives an option, would I prefer going triple Wolves in game week 13? No. The triple Wolves is a bit extreme. Their fixtures are nice for those two, but you're then walking into Liverpool and Man City where you need to sell at least two of them. So I wouldn't do that. Am I keeping Antonio and am I playing him in the tougher fixtures? I haven't decided. If I keep Antonio, I'm going to play him. Okay? I think. The only other thing possible is their fixtures rotate really well with Southampton. So I could get Broha in and play him in 13. Play Broha 13, 15, 17. Sorry, let me go and get a Southampton player up. I thought I had Livramento here, but I do not, of course. If he rotates, in theory, quite well with 13... Oh, maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's after 13, 15 and 17 he does. 13 he doesn't. I am looking at sort of ways of keeping Antonio and rotation pairs and things like that, but is it worth for a hit Ronaldo, Benrahma out for Gallagher, Kane in? Yeah, I probably would do that myself. Will Saka get points for Watford at home? I'm stuck. Yeah, I think he's not a bad option, but I'd still go... I'd go Son this week for free if I could. But yeah, I don't think Saka's a bad option. I will keep you posted, Ibrahim. Twitter, drop me a DM actually, and we can talk about it and discuss it. But my DMs are always open. But yeah, it's one I'm considering. Not sure exactly how I'm going to go with it. But it is time for the Champions League games. So I hope you have enjoyed. Sorry, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the quick stream. There will be more stuff between now and the deadline. Make sure you follow me on Twitter for questions and everything like that. My DMs on Twitter are always open. But as I said to everyone else, if you haven't watched my video from today, there's an announcement in it. Please go and watch the first 2 minutes of the video, first minute of the video even, just to see what that announcement is, because it's worth noting if you ever come and try and find my channel, because there are changes coming to my channel. Enjoy the Champions League, everyone. Good luck in Game Week 11 if I don't see you, and I will be back very soon. Magic Master Tricks, appreciate your love so much. Appreciate it, guys, and I will see you all very soon.